pray 3 times 3 times during the day to stop and pray, and entrust myself to Mary to pray the Angelus. And so I wanted, and so from a little kid, what she taught me was that Mary is our true mother, and that she will guide us always in life. And so I wanted to carry that on to the young people and teach them that they have a greater mother who's there watching over them.
Well, and I seem to remember too, so I'm getting this sense, you know, when I read in the dream, I mean in your autobiography, there was another dream, and I'm getting the sense that Mary is very strong in the Salesian family. There was, you've already talked about the 2 dreams, there was at least a 3rd dream. I think it was the dream of the, let me see, hold on, I have it here. The dream of the 2, what? That can't be right. Who's writing this stuff? The dream of the 2 pillows? That's not right, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Someone's going to get fired, I know that.
Well, what I think it is, it's the dream of the 2 pillars.
Pillars, that's
yes.
the word.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just play the music.
So, in that dream, that was a very interesting dream also. Man, it's crazy dreams. So I was I was on a ship, and the dream was there was ships coming from one side, ships coming from the other. It was a big Navy battle, and
Kind of the game Battleship?
kind of like Battleship, yes, but very intense, very scary, yes. Because it was a religious battleship. On my ship, we had the Pope, and we had the church, and we had everyone else, and then on the opposing side, they were attacking us with cannons, and they were actually attacking us with very evil books, bad teachings and heresy. It was scary.
So how do you interpret this dream? Like, if you have the Pope, Mary, I believe the Eucharist was also there.
Yeah, so let me explain more. The dream keeps going.
Oh, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. Man, this dream. So they're all attacking, and so we actually appear to be losing, and the Pope gets shot. What's going on? He falls down, but then another Pope gets up and takes his place, and we're like, all right, let's keep fighting. They slowly keep winning, and so what's going on? But all of a sudden, 2 giant pillars from the sea come up, and on one is standing Mary, and that's where I believe Mary was important in this dream. Mary, and then on the other pillar is the Jesus, is the host, is the Eucharist. And so these giant 2 pillars come up, and so our side, the church and the Pope, we hold on to these 2 pillars. We anchor our ships onto these 2 giant pillars, and the other side, the other fleets, they begin to run away, and they can't handle it. So, because nothing they do is attacking us, because we're anchored to Mary and to Jesus. And so that's why Mary is a big important. We need to be devoted to her and entrust ourselves to her. And to Jesus, we need to always remain rooted in him. And that's why I always tell my kids to always pray to Mary, especially Mary, Help of Christians, and to always make use of the sacraments, especially receiving Jesus, frequent reception of the sacrament of the Eucharist and of confession. So those 2 sacraments I always taught them to make use of.
Well, now, of course, I'm just a talk show host, so I'm no psychologist, no dream interpreter, nothing like that. But I'm also thinking that with the Pope being in that dream, that probably also lends to why the Salesians are so famously known for having a deep allegiance to the Pope as well, right?
Of course,
Probably
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. There also seems, okay, so we have ourselves with the Salesians working for the poor, now boys and girls, so that's good. It was just boys at first. We have the deep-seated notion of making sure that we are always participating in the sacraments, especially Eucharist and confession. We have Mary, of course, as our mother and our guide, the Pope, the allegiance to the Pope. There seems to be something of virtue, joyfulness. That's what it was.
Yes.
Something about joyfulness. What is that? Can you explain that, Mother Monstrello?
Well, I think it was a divine providence that Don Bosco came to meet us, because in Mornese, where our congregation was started, that was a spirituality that we tried to share with the girls, cheerfulness. And I always tell our sisters, Daughters of Mary, Help of Christians, to be cheerful. because cheerfulness is a sign of a heart that loves the Lord.
Wow. Very interesting. What about, so then was that carried out within community life as well, not just also what bled into the ministry to the sisters?
Oh yes, because we can't be cheerful outside and be all
Doom and
inside.
gloom. Yeah.
So recreation is definitely a big part of our community life.
Dressed like that?
Constant.
Recreation?
Sometimes, yes.
Wow. That's good. Sight to be seen, probably. Wow. Don Bosco, was this virtue also important in your work?
Of course, yes. I always tell my boys to do everything you do your duties well and with joy. So, because God wants you to do your duties, whatever you have to do in life, He wants you to do that. And if you do it, He's happy. So we're happy too. So He's happy, we're happy. So yeah.
Carrying out your duties, whatever it is, whatever state you are in life, kind of reminds me of spirituality of St. Francis de Sales. So kind of that would also be a road to holiness as well, would it not be?
Of course. And that's why I always taught them, it's simple to be holy. Just do your duties well and with joy. That's why I told the young people. And that's what they did.
Not taking on any extra penances.
No.
Because they're going to come our way regardless, right?
Yes,
We don't have
of
to ask
course.
for them, they come.
Yep, they do come. They do come. And also, with that, I always felt the need to always teach them that that they don't have to do the extraordinary things in life. That all they have to do is just the ordinary things they have to do during their day, and to do them well, and that's it, and with joy. And so, because we're not perfect, and so as long as we're just doing what we have to do, and doing them well, meaning with great love. So anything we have to do, doing that with great love, and that's what I tried to teach them. And for myself, that's why I worked so hard. I always believed in work. There's a song about that, but I won't talk about that. Work, and work. More work.
And more work. Well,
But doing that for the right reason. And for us Salesians, it's for the young people, for their salvation, for the salvation of souls.
now, I know when you first started your work, that was during the times of the Industrial Revolution there in Italy as well. So how were you able to minister to the kids during that time? I mean, I'm sure it was rough.
Yeah, during those times, yes, Industrial Revolution. In the city of Turin, where I began my work, many people were coming in, many families. And so the town was full of young people, many of which, some families just sent their young people to the cities to live in the city and to work there. And so many young people did not have people to live with. And so they were kind of just abandoned and by themselves, up to themselves. And so so it was tough, and so that's why they tried to work and to do something. But during that time, there's child labor laws. There weren't any child labor laws, and so a lot of the young people, they were mistreated in their work. They were given tough, difficult work. Not fed well, and so it was very tough for them. And for me, I felt I needed to do something to take care of these young people, and so that's why I began my work for them. By giving them something, and I needed to fulfill their needs, and that's why the oratory work began.
And what was done at the oratory?
The oratory, you just want to hear what the oratory was? Oh, the type of work.
What was it that was done there? I mean, if the kids were out working all day in cruel conditions, then what made them want to come with you? What attracted them?
Yes, well, I had to do a lot of things to attract them. I did acrobatics and juggling.
You?
Yes, of course, yes.
Wow.
And but with them, really what attracted them was I was giving them a place where they could be safe, where they could feel at home.
Because they were away from their families.
Yes.
So, yeah.
They felt at home. I was giving them a place where they could also learn, because a lot of them didn't know how to read or write. And so with the fun and games, I was also teaching them. But also I was also meeting with them on Sundays and teaching them catechism. And so they were already there, and so just by teaching them the faith and about God, and that's what I called the oratory. So it's basically, it served as a home.
Poor kids, poor boys.
Yes.
They're all poor.
Yep. And so it served as a home a school, a church, and a playground.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Wait, can you say that one more time? So it was
home, church, school, playground. 4 things.
And so Mother Mozzarella, was this similar to what you were doing with the girls?
Yes, it was very much similar.
Because I know at the time, though, girls were not educated, so they didn't go to school.
No.
And I believe that you met some resistance in the beginning about that, too.
Oh, yes.
All thanks to, you know, who.
Well, he also provided us with a lot of things. Yes, I mean, Don Bosco started his ministry with the boys in the city, because that's where all the boys were coming to find work. But we started our ministry with the girls in the small rural areas. And so all the girls, like you said, were very uneducated. And so our work was mainly to start also to distract them from things that are dangerous to the soul, like vanity and dances and carnivals. And we taught them, at first we started with sewing and needlework, because that's what they, you know, like girls were usually learning at that time. And then over time, Don Bosco would send us these beautiful, you know, teachers, because not a lot of us were certified to teach. So Don Bosco would teach or send us teachers, so that eventually we would teach them other skills like music and reading and writing. And so, yeah.
Very interesting. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, how much work that you guys were doing, especially in the time that was very difficult. The anti-clericalism, the Industrial Revolution, as we said, it was really hard times for you guys. It's just a lot of work that you guys were able to accomplish. I'm just very impressed. But what I'm thinking though, so Don Bosco, for the priests and the brothers and the sisters, you can only do so much. How do you reach out to more people? If that's even what you want to do, how would you do that?
Yeah. And this is something that I felt God was slowly showing me along the journey and Mary, that this work was not, it's much greater, it's God's work. And so with that came the Salesian mission, to be signs and bearers of God's love for the young. And that's not something that just us priests, brothers and sisters can do. That's much greater. And so I began to get lay people and other people that wanted to work. And so it became cooperators. Yes.
But they weren't even allowed to do that kind of work then. That was far advanced thinking.
Oh, it was. Yes, it was.
That didn't come until 1960s with Vatican II. You were born in the 1800s.
That is correct.
Wow.
That's why I think he's a saint.
You might be right. You might be right.
And so now we have this greater Salesian family. That's what we call it. We have the SDBs, the FMAs. We have the cooperators, and so many other little groups, and they're all doing the Salesian mission.
I keep getting a signal from our producer over there. I think she has a little bit more information for us.
Yes, Benito, I've done a little bit of my research to help you guys out. And April, if you'll hit the next slide, we have some stats for you just to show you the vastness of the Salesian family today. So currently in the world today, for the SDBs, that's our priests and brothers, there are over 15,000 throughout the world. And our FMA, which stands for Daughters of Mary Help of Christians in Italian, there's close to 14,000. So, and then within these other Salesian groups that Don Bosco, you were just mentioning, there's 30 different groups that fall under the Salesian family.
Those are all lay people?
Not all of them. Some of them are other orders of sisters that were started by other Salesian priests, but some of them are also groups of lay people like this, the Association of Salesian Cooperators, and the Devotees to Mary Help of Christians, they're lay people, and the Association of Past Pupils, they're all lay, but there's 30 of them, and I read that there's like 25 more that are asking to be included. So it's a vast, growing family. And so you can see here, I mean, the Salesians are in 132 countries, the FMA in 94 countries, and the work is just massive. Pretty impressive, Salesians.
That's pretty awesome. Well, I'm looking forward in my cards here, and I think actually that's all that I have. Katie, do you think there's anything else?
I was helping Benito prepare for this show and doing a lot of the research for him.
I'm doing the job show.
And I was fascinated. I couldn't stop doing the research. But Mother Mazzarello, I learned that